Hey there, Bad Dog from Two Dogs Digs. And today on our Two Dogs Digs tips, we're going to talk to you about 5 tips for holding successful eBay auctions. Now, eBay, as you may have known, started with auctions long time ago. And we've actually been selling on eBay for 25 years. So we've been selling with auctions for 25 years. Now, over the past number of years, a lot of people said, people don't want to go to eBay for auctions. Well, they actually do. And it depends on what the items are. But in a lot of cases, if you've got something that is maybe highly desirable, one of a kinds, collectibles, pop culture, things like that, you may actually do better auctioning something and getting an amount you never thought you were going to get versus just putting it up with a buy it now, potentially with a best offer or promoting your listings. So I'm going to show you as a perfect example right now. If you looked at something like dolls, if you go to eBay, right now in eBay, there are under the headline dolls, there are 1 million results of doll listings out there. And that's every kind of doll that's out there. But if you click on auction, you actually see there's 80,000. That means like almost 8% of the dolls that are on eBay are auctions. So there's still a good percentage of people who are actually trying to auction things. Now, there are some people who aren't doing it right. We'll do another video about that and talk to you about that later on. Today is going to be the 5 tips on how to do your auction like the best possible way based on everything we've learned. Now, as I said, something like dolls, great. Let's just say t-shirts. Is t-shirts or clothing good? Not necessarily. There are almost 3 million listings under t-shirts, but in auctions, there's only about 3,000. So the reason there's probably any of those are in there is probably more so for things that could be on a lot higher collectability level. So in this case, autographed ones, rare t-shirts, vintage things from 1973, things like that. So as you can see, they're harder to find. It's not just like a t-shirt that somebody has from the Gap that they're going to sell, like the other 2.9 million of them. So when we talk about doing auctions, I want you to know we practice what we preach. So I'm going to show you as well. Right now, we have in the past, I'm going to pop this up and show you in the past, this is right, we have 18 unsold listings, but you can see right here, we have run 182 auctions in the past, unsold auctions in the past 90 days. We have some really good sold auctions that have gone through as well. I'm going to see if I can find one of them to show you. But right now, we actually have 7 auctions listed. So these are all ones we got listed right now. It's not a lot, but 7 out of our 900 items, because once you have an auction, I'll tell you what to do with it. We have a bid on one of them already, but these still have a few days left. It's today is September 1st, so these still have 5 days left. But even in our drafts, I want you to look right now, we're prepping drafts. I got 29 drafts. And in those 29 drafts, take a look down that format right here, format in the center. These are all being set up, auction, 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 auction. So you see, we're not just talking about it, we're actually doing it. And we've actually recommended it to a couple of other people too. And they've tried this method and it's actually worked really well for them. So in order to figure out what is what, I think that what we really need to do is just talk about what are the 5 tips for holding successful eBay auctions. So tip number 1 is actually quite interesting. It's a 10-day payoff. So what I want you to think about is you can do auctions as 3 days or 5 days or 7 days or 10 days. You used to be able to do 1 day. I'm not even sure if you can do that anymore. But that's kind of a waste of time because somebody's got to be right in eBay that time. So, but what we found is we're trying to do 10-day auctions because they have a better payoff. And in fact, it's actually been studied. If you look at my little point that's on the side there, the Journal of Industrial Economics showed that 10-day auctions get 42% more than 3 and 5 day auctions, and even 18% more than 7-day auctions. The other great thing about a 10-day auction is it actually gives your buyers more time to find you. So that's the one thing that people always say if it's an auction. And Good Dog and I used to have a little bit of a discussion on this. If it's something that's not collectible or doesn't really have that kind of thing, and you can search to see whether other items have done that before to see if your category is worth doing something for auctions, like t-shirts versus dolls or model kits or signed memorabilia. And what the comment was that if it's only up there for a short period of time, you're only getting a certain amount of people. So if we can put that auction up for 10 days instead of 7 days, we actually have an extra 3 days potential of driving people to see our listing if they hadn't gone on. So you got over a week of people being able to see your listings. So just to let you know that the proof is in the pudding, I'm going to show you one of our most recent sales that actually was a successful auction that proves my point to the 10th degree. So we had this fabulous little thing we found called a Momiji doll. It was actually a store display. And you can see it's this little thing. It weighed like 6 pounds. When we found this thing, it was at a thrift store and it cost us $10. And we did research on it and we had to look all over to see if we could find something like this. And the closest that we could find using WorthPoint, which is a great tool, was to be able to go and find one that sold between $85 and $125. So if I was only doing fixed price listings, I would have taken this doll and thrown it up there for $85, $88, $100, maybe $125. If I wanted to be a little, I don't know, ballsy, I'd put it at $140 or $150, higher than anybody else had put it at. But we decided that we would use our plan, our 10-day auction plan. And our 10-day auction plan, we started this at $88. And to just show you what happened with something like this, when you're not expecting it, and this is what a 10-day auction can do for you, $562. We made $562. My voice even cracked. $562 on this because we put it in auction. This auction cost us 10 cents or was part of our free auctions for the year or the month. Why not have tried it? I could have sold it for $88. I got $562. So that's not the only one that we've had that's been like that. We have others. I'll show you one more of those at the end of the video. Number 2, Thursday is the new Sunday. What do we mean by Thursday is the new Sunday? Well, it's actually what we're talking about here is when you do 10-day auctions, if you start them on a Thursday night, you will actually get coverage of 2 weekends. And Sundays is actually the best time for auctions to end based on everything that we've done for our trials and errors. So if you can actually end it on a Sunday and start it on a Thursday, you end up covering Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the way through the following week and the following Saturday and Sunday. So you're aiming to do 10-day auctions. If you need to, do a 7-day, but don't ever do less than a 7-day auction. And if you're doing a 7-day, you could start them any day of the week, but we still like to start them at a certain time, which brings us to the next question. When you're doing an auction, what price do you set? Well, this is something that everybody used to talk about, doing 99-cent auctions, and that's not the way to go. You may even find reports and people saying this works for us. In fact, there was a seller that we heard actually on an eBay podcast who talked about that's how they used to do their auctions. They were all 99 cents, and they used to last hundreds of auctions. Well, the problem is 99 cents. If something sells for that, you know what? You've got to put more time and effort into it to pack it than you would have made on it. That company actually moved up their selling so that they now start all of their auctions at $4.99, which is a little bit better. But in our case, we say, why not ask what you were going to ask it in a buy it now? So if you're going to put your listing up with a fixed price anyway, and you're not sure if there's some collectability to it, if there's somebody who goes to that item while it's up for auction, and you were going to buy it now for $50, and it actually gets the $50 bid, you got what you were going to get with the buy it now, but it could go up. And that's what I mean when we have something that we have up for our 10-day auction. So if I go back to that drafts page and I pick this thing up in here where we got all these 10-day auctions set up, This atmosphere game is a perfect example. We can resume the draft right now. And in this atmosphere game, we are setting a price to begin with. Sorry if it's speeding down here. We're setting a price to begin with of $88. So we think that this should sell for $88. Other ones have sold. We've sold them for $88. So as opposed to putting it in for $88 as a fixed price, we're putting it in as a 10-day auction, because you never know if there's no others on eBay, which there weren't right now when we were looking. That might have a couple of people competing on it and make your item go a lot higher. So that's a key. Try to make sure that you're remembering to ask what you want right at the beginning. Set that as your opening price. So the next one is a little bit different, and it really helps, again, if you have that 10-day auction window. What I want you to do is take that 10-day auction window and use it to your advantage. How do you use it to your advantage? Well, this is how you use it to your advantage. You review your auction during the time that it's up. Some people post an auction and leave it and then wait for it to end. But we say no, don't do that. So we have a few things and tricks and tips to do with this. On your 7th or 8th day of the auction, if you have to run a 7-day auction, look at it on your 5.5 to 6 day, 24 hours beforehand. If you have no views and no watchers, we want you to relook at your whole auction. And by relook at it, we mean you might have to redo the category. Did you put it in the right category? Did you have the title right? Do you have the right keywords? Why is it not even getting views? So that's the first thing you're going to do. The second thing you're going to do is, if you have views but no watchers, you might just need to tweak a little bit. Maybe you need to take a better photo and add it, because you can still add those things. You could add a video. We actually did an auction a while back, and we had some people ask a question about it. We actually had a bid on the item already, and some people asked us a question about this. It was a toy set from the 70s called Shrinky Dinks. One person asked us whether or not the actual items were flexible, and another person asked us about the packaging of something. So what we did was we added a video after a bid had come in at day 7 or 8, because we only had our opening bid of $48, showing the video of this is what the packaging, this is how flexible everything was. And you know what? We ended up getting, all of a sudden, in those next days after that video went in, our views shot up, our watchers shot up, and the auction ended well over $100, way more than I thought I was going to get if I put it at a fixed price. So tweak that if you got auctions, if you've got a bid, if you think you've got a lot of watchers, but just do some tweaking. But the final one is if you have no bids, but you have watchers. That means that something could be happening. So what we always suggest there is that's the time to take your item and drop the price by 10 or 20%. In the case of this, as you can see, only a few days, we've got very few watchers to our porcelain Beswicks. So we might look at whether or not we have the right information in there. But this is the Britans that's up there right now, that we've got 28 views and 3 watchers. So in a couple of days, if we don't get a bid, we'll probably drop this down to $44. I'm going to give you another example of somebody that we know named Leah, who put up, Lee and Leah, they put up a model kit. And the model kit they had at $78. And with that model kit, they had a lot of watchers, but no bids. So they took this advice, and 48 hours before the auction ended, they dropped the $78 price down to $58. They only paid $8 for this, so that they were still going to make money. But what happened is, within 5 minutes after they put it down to $58, they got their first bid. And it ended up, over that 10-day auction, going up to $140, I think. So they would have just listed it at $78. They got double it because of trying the auction. So again, this is what you got to do. Take a look at that time period. If you got bids, great. If you got lots of watchers and no bids, maybe adjust the price. If you got watchers or no watchers and no bids and no views, take a look at what you got to do. Maybe it's changing the category completely. Don't be afraid to do that. People change categories and things like that all the time. A lot of times, if you did a sell similar, you may not even notice that you put it in a category it shouldn't have even been. So maybe that's one of the reasons that no one's viewing it at that point. at least at that 7 or 8 day mark, you've got a chance to hopefully figure out what the right thing to do is. At the end of the day, this is all about trying to sell something, though. So if you are trying to sell something and you listed it as an auction, you may have ended up paying a little bit of money. You may have you may have free listings, free auctions within your category, with your store category. You just may not have had the activity out there. Well, this is what you end up doing. Now is the time that you flip it to a fixed price. And that is our rule number 5. So you've tried it, and maybe for whatever reason, it just didn't work. That's the time. If you got no bidders, just relist. If that $44 does not come into play, then literally what we're going to do is that afterwards, we're going to take that, we're going to relist that item as a buy it now, but we're not going to relist it at the price that we had it on auction at. We're going to relist it higher. We're going to take that price and add 25% to it. So that $48 item is going to be relisted as a fixed price item for 25% more. Then we're going to add in the best offer at our opening auction price. Now, why would we do this? Well, you know what? There's been a few times where we've had somebody contact us after an auction and they missed the item because of whatever. They had to go out. They forgot it was ending. Well, this gives them the ability to have bought it at the opening bid. So it's a nice way for you to say, no worries, we're going to allow you to honor that opening bid. It's what we wanted in the first place. So it's a way for us to get money and have a happy customer as well. If somebody hasn't seen the item in auction, they may not even know that it was at a lower price. You may actually get the higher price. But this is the time when you go and put it at the price that you really want it to have. Some people don't like going up as high as 25%. Some people like just listing it at the actual auction opening bid. We like pumping it up a little bit so that we can play around with it, add promoted listings, things like that that you can do to fix price that you can't really do on an auction. So, as we said, if something sells, great. But if it doesn't, then we relist. And let me show you right now. We had some items in the toy and doll category that ended recently. And these are all items that you'll see actually didn't get their bid. So they are all things that didn't get their opening bid. So what are we going to do with that? Well, in some cases, we had watchers, we had good numbers. So I'm going to take this little Kittles, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, because we do sell a lot in the toy and doll area. And I'm going to relist this. I hoped I would get more than $48 for this. It's not in perfect shape. So I'm going to take this, and it's really easy. All I have to do is go down from auction style. I had this one as 7 days because I wanted to do it in a short period of time. We're going to put it at 74. But we're also going to add that best offer in there. And that best offer, we're going to say automatically decline offers lower than the $48.88, which is what we wanted to get for it. So now we're going to take this item and list it. We don't have to change anything else. But now we've got that item listed. It's going to be listed with a higher buy it now price, a best offer at the $48 we were originally going to auction it for. So if someone makes us an offer on that, that's great. If somebody buys it for $75, that's even better. But we had an opportunity to maybe make on this as much as we made on that Momiji, but we didn't get it on this one. So that is our 5 rules for how to have a successful eBay auction. Always aim for 10-day auctions. Start those auctions on a Thursday night. Start your opening bid at or near what you would list it at if you were setting the price for buy it now. Review your auctions at the 7 to 8 day mark. And if you get no bids, relist it with the buy it now, adding a little bit of cushion, as well as the best offer for buy it now. Again, we've had hundreds of items that we've listed on auction. We sell probably, depending upon the items, between 10 to 30% of our items that go on auction actually sell. The rest of them, we just flip them back into fixed price. So no harm, no foul, just the potential for making a lot more money. Hopefully this 2 Dogs tip will make you a little bit of money in the reselling world. If you like us, please subscribe down below. Click the bell and you'll get any notices for when we do our tip videos or thrift it or throw it videos or anything else along those lines. And hopefully you can join us any Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for our 2 Dogs Digs haul pack. So subscribe if you can, hit the bell, give us a thumbs up, and let us know if this has worked for you in any way, shape, or form if you tried our 10-day auction tips. Thanks so much. Bad Dog out of here. Time to set up some more auctions.